Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Amy and I am on a financial freedom journey with my family. Every single month I share our real number monthly budget and a corresponding video that goes over what we actually spent, because sometimes it is not the same every single month and we always go in with a plan, but sometimes the plan doesn't work out. So I always have that corresponding video that shows, what we actually spent, but this is the plan for our money for August 2023. So let's go ahead and get into it. So I did pre-fill in the expense categories because it is just easier for me, honestly. Let me know if you guys prefer that or if you like it when I write it out in the video. Usually I do this because I can't think and write at the same time. So I feel like this just makes it a little bit easier for everybody. So first is our W-2 income. So my husband and I both do work full time. So we do bring home salaries and they're typically the same. They really don't change very much at all. So we are budgeting $7,200. That has been the same for quite a while. That's just our normal regular income every single month that we get to budget with. Let's move down to our fixed expenses. So our first fixed expense is our mortgage, and we are budgeting $2,100 for our mortgage. If you guys have been around for a while, you know this already, but we do pay a little bit extra towards the principal of our mortgage right now. So our actual mortgage is just under $2,000, and so we pay $2,100. Another reason for this is because our mortgage was actually closer to $2,100 when we first started paying it, but then because of taxes and everything, it ended up actually going down a little bit, which is a whole nother story, but I won't go too much into that right now. But we did just leave it at $2,100, so that was just kind of what we decided to do. We didn't want to change it in our budget and just felt like $2,100 would be fine, and that would give us an additional $100 and so that go extra towards our principal every single month. So we've been really liking that, and it just gives us another way of just kind of accelerating that mortgage payoff every month. Next up, we have Netflix. So that is $8 a month for our Netflix. We have just the very basic Netflix version. It has ads. And yeah, we used to have the more expensive one, but we downgraded to the ad version. Honestly, I never even notice it. Ads do not bother me. I mean, I think it's maybe because I grew up in the 90s and, we had commercials. So I feel like my kids are kind of like, what is this? But I don't know. It's just so my husband grew up in the 80s and it's just we're just so used to commercials. It just does not bother us. So $8 for Netflix. And then we also have $45 for our Peloton. We do have a Peloton bike and we use that instead of a gym membership. So both my husband and I use that, and that is $45 a month for the subscription. Then we have our internet. So that is $60. And we also have a reoccurring donation with St. Jude for $100 a month right now. That is our giving category. And then this is actually the last month that I will have this preschool expense. So the month of August will be my daughter's last full month in her preschool program. She's actually going to be going to school 4K in the fall. So she will be transitioning to the 4K program, which we actually will still have to pay a wraparound daycare type of situation, but it'll be a little bit cheaper than this. So that's kind of fun. Really looking forward to that. But yeah, that is the plan for right now. So this is the last month that we will have this full expense for her. Although if you guys have watched my videos before, we do have my son, my youngest, he's 1.5. He's on a bunch of wait lists at daycares, but it's just nothing has been panning out for us with him. So he is still not in daycare, but I'm hoping eventually he will be. But yeah, the daycare situation around us is really, really rough right now. Just low staff and just not having spots open. So that's kind of the situation that we're in right now. But this expense will be going down, in the near future, and then hopefully going back up when he does get a spot in daycare someday. And then our last fixed expense for the month of August is our electric. We've been budgeting about $250, and that has been working out pretty well. We've actually had it, it's been a little bit lower than I expected this summer, which is always a good thing. And that brings our total fixed expenses to $3,323 for the month of August. And that leaves us with a remaining of $3,877. So moving up to our variable expenses. So personal spending, my husband and I both get personal spending money every single month. We both get $100 each per month. And that is just money that we get to spend on whatever we want to spend it on. If we want to get like a coffee or something like that, or, you know, save it up and buy something. I typically use mine for like either a coffee or a pedicure or like something like that. I don't know, a Target run that isn't for like home stuff. So things like that, just like personal stuff that we want to purchase for ourselves. Then we also have our gas. So we do budget $175 right now for gas for both of our vehicles. If you're new here, we were a one-car family for quite a while, for almost a year. We recently purchased a second car. So we're still kind of in the newness of figuring out this gas budget with 2 cars. I think we might have to bump it up to 200, but we'll kind of see. I'm going to see how July fully ends up panning out, but it's looking like we might need to raise this a little bit with having the 2 cars. Obviously, we're just going through a little bit more gas, even though we're not really driving anymore, but it's just like 2 gas tanks to fill up. So it just ends up being a little bit more per month, I feel like. Then we have our grocery budget. So I am naively budgeting $800 here. You know, I don't know. I feel like some months I feel like good about this, and then some months I feel like it's just not enough. I feel like it also just depends on like what we have going on in the month and stuff like that. So, you know, looking at August, it should be pretty good, but like September, we might need to raise this because I'm gonna have to start packing lunches for my kids for school and like just various school things that end up popping up. So we'll keep an eye on this one heading into the school year. Next category is our fun and kids category. Our fun and kids budget gets a lot of use during the summer because our kids are just wanting to do more fun things. They have more events, more birthday parties, sports things in the summer. So this is a category that we really heavily use in the summertime. And then next up we have our miscellaneous budget. So this is just kind of a catch-all for anything that we did not adequately budget for. It could be run over from like the fun and kids stuff, or just anything miscellaneous that kind of doesn't really fit into any of the other categories. And I also kind of use this as like a buffer to prevent us from pulling like a small amount out of our sinking funds, because we do hold our sinking funds in a separate bank account, separate bank completely. And so I do try to kind of mitigate us having to like make a very small transfer. Like if we, you know, buy something for our house for like $25, I don't want to have to make a transfer from another bank just for that like small amount. So that's another way that we kind of use our miscellaneous budget. And that has always worked out really well for us. Obviously, you guys have to do what works out for you. This might not work for you, but that's what works for us. So $200 for miscellaneous. And then our final variable expense category is dining out, and we are going to budget $250. If you've been on my channel for a while, this is always a category that we really struggle with. My husband and I both love to eat out, and our kids love to eat out. I feel like we just don't have somebody in the house that is like, you know, we have food at home. And sometimes it has to be me that says that, even though I don't want to. So we need to be better about that. But I'm kind of giving us a little bit of leeway this summer, and then hopefully back in like the fall, winter, we will get back on the like meal prepping type of situation and meal planning to prevent us from eating out as much. But this summer, you know, we've got a lot of sports going on. My husband and my son both, well, my husband coaches my son's baseball, so he doesn't like play, but they're both very, very busy with baseball, and my daughter just finished baseball. So yeah, just lots of stuff going on around here that prevent us sometimes from being home for dinner and like sitting at our own dining room table and eating and stuff like that. So total variable expenses was $1,725, and that leaves our remaining at $2,152. So next we're going to move down to our sinking funds. So sinking funds are just little mini savings accounts that you can use to set aside money for various things. The ones that we currently have are car, home, Christmas, kids, and vacation. That we've had these for quite a while, for years at this point. These are the categories that make sense for us and that work best for us. So here is what we are doing this month. So for car, we are doing 50. For home, we are doing 100. Christmas, we are doing 100. Kids, we are doing 200. And vacation, we are doing 100. So Kids is a little bit higher this month, so obviously this is our August budget. So we are going to be gearing up for our 2 oldest to be going back to school. So I did just want to have a little bit more in here to just make sure that we are having enough in here for everything that is coming up. So, you know, back to school fees, you know, like we have to pay registration fees and all of that kind of stuff. We have to buy school supplies for 2 kids, and, you know, my son's probably going to need a little bit of clothing for school and some shoes and stuff like that, as well as my son is actually playing on a select team next year. And so we actually already had to have the tryout and had to pay the fee. So I'm very grateful that my husband's actually coaching that team as well. So we do actually get a little bit of a discount. So that is really cool. So we don't have to pay the highest fee. So we do get a pretty good discount on that. So it's only a few $100s for that. I know a lot of people that I've talked to have to pay, you know, $500, $600, $700, $800. I'm very grateful that we don't have to pay that much. But yeah, so we do just have a lot of kids things coming up. So I'm putting $200 in here. We do have a pretty big cushion in this account already from building it up the last few months. We really use this pretty heavily in the fall, and then the rest of the year, we typically don't use it a ton. So yeah, we're just kind of trying to keep that reserve there and trying to just forecast what we're going to need that for, you know, in the next couple of months. So that's why that one's a little bit higher. So you won't see like back to school stuff coming out of our regular budget because we do use those sinking funds for that kind of stuff. So I don't have anything specific to, you know, the school supplies or anything like that in here. So that brings our total sinking funds to $550, and that leaves our remaining at $1,602. And you guys know where that's going to go. That is going to our financial goals for, oops, what am I writing? All right, sorry guys, let's try that again. 1,000, oh my gosh, I'm still writing it weird. Oh my goodness, you guys, I'm so sorry. $1,602. My brain is like a jumbly mess today. I don't know what's going on with me. So total debt and savings, obviously we don't have any debt, but this is just a category for like anything, catch-all category for anything that you might have in your budget. So $1,602. And that leaves our remaining at $0. So we have a zero-based budget. We do a zero-based budget because that is what works out best for us. I like to know where every single dollar in our budget is going and make sure that every single dollar has a plan. Because if it didn't have a plan, we would spend $1,602 on whatever we wanted to, okay? I know that money would get spent if we did not explicitly tell ourselves that we cannot spend it, because, you know, my husband and I both like to spend money and it can get out of control really easily. So that is why we do a zero-based budget. That is all I have for you guys for August budget. Let me know in the comments down below. Have you done your budget yet? I'm posting this a little bit later than I normally would. So I hope that you have your August budget done. If you don't, take this as your sign to go do your August budget and get yourself in a really good financial situation. I will talk to you guys on Friday for Debt Free Friday. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. Bye guys.